Hello, welcome to Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. So, what is the subject for today? Well, I've received a lot of calls lately about how long it's taking for their visas to process and to be able to, you know, go and actually apply for the green card, whether it's through adjustment of status or consulate processing. And so I thought I would give just a little recap of the types of preferences and waiting times so you understood. So, first of all, there's what is known as the preference system. And the preference system, for all intents and purposes, the lower the preference, the more rapid it takes. And the higher the preference, the longer it takes. Okay? And there are four different preferences in the immigration system. And the second preference has two subparts. So there you go. That's the gist of it. Four major preferences with two sub-preferences in preference two. So what are they? Well, let's start backwards and go forwards. Preference 4 takes the longest amount of time. Okay? Now, preference 4 is a sibling petition. And a sibling petition is a U.S. citizen who's over 21 petitioning his or her brother or sister. Okay? And that particular one takes the longest because while it's allowed for the petition to go forward, the U.S. government basically thinks there's a lot higher preferences that should take less time. And just so you know, if you happen to be from the Philippines, from India, from China, from Mexico, minimum you're going to wait on a fourth preference petition for it to become current is about 15 years. The Philippines is the longest in the world, and that is a quarter of a century. Can you imagine waiting that long for it to become current? But there's a lot of people that do. Okay, third preference. That is when a U.S. citizen petitions a married son or daughter. Okay, that does take a few years, but again, you have to determine by looking at the visa priority chart what country you're from, and that tells you how long. Keep in mind, the approval of it does not mean it's current. You could theoretically send it in today, get it approved tomorrow, and still wait the number of years for the visa number to become current. That's when you can move on to the next step. Okay, so that's third preference. Second preference is the only preference that deals with lawful permanent residents petitioning people. Those are green card holders petitioning. So that's for spouse, that would be F2A, and then it's for children. It's unmarried children under 21, and that's F2B. Now, what is the situation with F2A, which is interesting, which has not occurred in a very long time as far as I can remember? It is current across the world. There is not a single country on the planet that has an F2A preference that is backlogged, which means if you're a lawful permanent resident and you want to petition your spouse, there's no visa waiting time. It's the same as if you're a U.S. citizen as far as the wait time. There's other issues which, being a U.S. citizen might help you, but as far as wait times, you don't have to think, well, you'll become a U.S. citizen, therefore it'll go faster. It's not true. Lawful permanent residents are current throughout the world. Okay, and what's the first preference? First preference is son or daughter of a U.S. citizen. So notice that's over 21. Okay, that does not mean under 21 or single. That falls in a different category. But those are the four preferences of the U.S. visa system. Now, some of you are thinking, well, I didn't talk about spouses of U.S. citizens and other things. What about them? What preference are they? Well, those are referred to, and I'll tell you in a minute, those are referred to as immediate relative petitions. Immediate relative petitions, the law says, are always available. There is no backlog, period. Okay? That would be a spouse of a U.S. citizen. That would be the child of a U.S. citizen, which is defined as someone under 21 who is single. And it would be the parent of a U.S. citizen, and a U.S. citizen over 21. And so all of of those are all of, number one, the preferences of the U.S. visa system and the immediate relatives. So hopefully that gives you a decent idea of how it works, where it goes, the weights, and so forth. Okay, if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and